how does the designer work in a startup and normally looking to work in a startup, making themselves visible for other startups to find their work and reach out to them for help. And I think that goes hand in hand with, you said that you are actually approached quite often. So if people are in a position where they actually want to be you and want to be approached often, how do you do it?
I think it's very, very actually easier than you think to get a job in a startup. It's just very difficult to get a job in the right startup. And I think that's unfortunately that's been this wave of a startup being a cool place to be, and Facebook was once a startup. Now they owning the world, right? So it's also romanticizing the thing a little bit, and that means a lot of people are trying to make startups but have no idea, how to do it, and will approach, people who are working in sort of the digital area, like designers and developers. And you have to be some of these people, might be great, and might, succeed and create very good startups. But it's very important that you that when you see these companies, that you start, the dating process, and see if that's actually a fit, or if it's something you want to do. And I think we have some great tools here in Denmark, like the Hub, where you have, startup jobs posted. And I never seen so many startup jobs posted as these years. So it's I would definitely just start, looking into these entry roles. And it depends on if you are just starting out. I had a slide about, should you work in a startup? And I think it's really important to say, is this the right approach? Do I want to be a junior designer in an agency and learn things by the book instead? Because then, maybe that's worth considering instead of joining a startup right away. And if not, just be aware of the chances it will bring you. And then, sometimes start in a not so cool startup, one of those where you think, okay, this could be a struggle, but you still learn something, and it's a way in. The first startup I was in, and no one knows very publicly yet, but they do some great stuff, and I learned a lot, being there. So if it's a great professional company, it will still help you get better as a designer.
Yeah. And I can add to that as well. I think it's very important that you're out there as well, that people notice you, because I can see for myself, that's because I was not interested in being part of a startup at all. I have been working corporate all my life. And then, I have been out because I think it's a very interesting community to be in. And I have been out giving talks, as you do now as well. So people have heard me talk about what I find interesting and what I'm passionate about as well. And then it has been easy to people to approach me, because it has been so easy to see that, okay, I'm very passionate about this specific field. So that's the go-to when we want to talk about this specific stuff as well. And then I definitely also think that it will be easier to have the right match as well in the end, when you talk from the heart. And I know, for instance, I was hired in and I was asked to join Preely also due to my mentality, my personality type, but also we had a discussion of how my life, my personal life, which life I would like to live as well. And that was before we at all talked about if we should make a match or not. It was just we had a coffee, and I was saying, I want to have a life where I can be completely remote. I want to travel the world. That was pre-corona. But I would like to have a job I can just take with me, and then be completely a digital nomad. And that just they were just okay, that suits us very well, because we don't care if you're at the office or not. And that's also why I can work 100% remotely. But I've been very honest when I talk with people as well. And then I think you also have the opportunity of making a great match afterward, because then there isn't any surprises. The guys at Preely was not okay, so you want to work remote? What the fuck? We thought you wanted to be in Copenhagen, right? They knew that from the beginning. And then Corona happened, and then it made everything, in my case, easier as well. But I think you should verbalize a lot what you're interested in, what you find, what you're passionate about, and also which life you actually want to live as well, because then somebody will hear it and think of you in the right situation as well. So I'm definitely
Definitely. And I think this personal branding thing is also really important. If you have a good idea, just write it on LinkedIn. It's not going to reflect bad on you if you just write about professional things. So don't keep it in, get it out there. And I think that has helped me a lot, get noticed in these things, but also be I spoke to a lot of startups where I didn't join anyway, right? So also be very, very be very aware of you know, like you say, being honest about what you want. And if you
Yeah.
don't want the same thing, that's okay. Someone else's will probably be a better fit.
Exactly. And I've been in exactly the same situation where I was just like, you know, my gut feeling was I like the persons, but my gut feeling was like, no, this is not for me. And then like I joined Preely and I was not, it's exactly like when you fall in love, right? And we have actually had some jokes internally about these things, because we have like, before we actually like make the real connection, we actually talked about it like, okay, are you going to marry us or not, and so on, right? So it's very much the same feelings that you need to have, I believe, if you want to thrive in this environment as well.